Hey guys, what's up? My name is Blacktavius, and I'm the record holder for Space Pinball in the Northwest region of the United States. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use Gunswapper. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a Discord-based bot. It reads in text of a certain gun, and it actually swaps to the gun in the game. So I'm going to show you how it works real quick. So let's go ahead and switch to the bane. Let me actually run it really quick. Okay, so it's running, and we're going to swap over to the Bane. I'm a big believer that it's about the journey, not the destination, so speed doesn't matter. So basically, how this works is it's split up into two different parts. I'll split the video up into the parts accordingly. There's a text file, well, a few text files, and then an actual gun swapper that reads them, and then there's a bot side of things. So we'll go through the actual program itself first. As you saw, it swapped to the Bane there. It goes ahead and brings up this, so it actually shows who decided was gonna choose what gun, which is really cool. I feel like it allows you to interact with people, put people on the spotlight. TM. So we're gonna go ahead and actually get started with how to do this. So yeah, let's go. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is you want to download Visual Studio Code. It's real easy. You just go to code.visualstudio.com. I'll put the link down in the description. And then you download it for Windows. Once you have that, you're going to want to download a few different extensions. So what you want to do is click on the extensions manager here, type in Java, and then you want to download language support for Java TM by Red Hat. Mine's version 0.07. I'm not sure what version yours will be, but just basically download this and then download Java debug, and that'll allow you to just compile everything and run it once you change a few of these things. So what we want to change is you want to head down to line 35 through 38. I've marked them as files. And the first one is the kill file. So all of these directories are going to be different on your computer, so you actually need to change them yourself. So what you want to do is you want to navigate over to where you extracted your files to when you extracted the actual mod itself. And you want to basically just come up here and copy this, and this will be the beginning directory, and then you'll want to go ahead and just add a different slash at the end of that and put the kill file. So that's basically what this looks like. And it's the same for most of these. So for these three guys, the initial directory is going to be the same. The end will just be guns. Now you'll notice that there are two slashes here instead of one. That's just the different syntax for Java so that you can actually have it as a string. So just make sure to add two slashes there or it's not going to work. And make sure that these are correct, because if not, then the mod's just going to crash every time you try to run it. The only one that's a little bit different is this to text, which is going to be in your binaries folder, which is basically where you put all of your other mods. So over here, this is the path for me. Okay, so it's Steam, Steam Apps, Common, Borderlands 2 binaries. And then just go ahead and dump in the two text files. So go ahead, drag it from here and place it in your binaries, and then go ahead and designate the actual path itself, and you should be good on that. So that's basically all you have to do for this. A little bit later in the video, I'll make sure to address if you want to change the different time for how long a gun stays active, or if you want to add different guns, you'll have to change a few different little values in here, but I'll go over that later because that's more specific stuff, and I just want to get the mod running as it is right now on your computer. So that'll be it for that. And then we'll go ahead and move on to the next file. Okay, so I'm done. One way you can check if this is actually working is you can go ahead and just click onto the page, and then go ahead and Alt-C, which is going to compile it. And down here, you'll see success. And now I know you're thinking, bro, that's not proper English, but it does mean that it did compile, which means you should be good to run it. So now we'll actually move on to the bot itself. So you'll move over to index. So basically what this is, and with the power of magic, I'm going to get rid of this bot login in post, but you're going to go ahead, go down into the description, and learn how to set up a bot in Discord. I know it's a bit of a pain, but once you do that, you should recognize what all this is. You're basically just going to copy this and paste it into whatever bot you made. And then you go ahead and change your bot login to whatever bot that you made. The only other thing you have to change is line 9. There's this text channel right here. You're going to have to change that to the text channel of your Discord channel. So to do that, you go ahead, bring up Discord, go to user settings, or I'm sorry, go to user settings, and then appearance, Then you're gonna scroll down, activate developer mode, and then right click whatever channel you want, and then copy your ID. So this is gonna let it only read, and then you can just go ahead and paste it, and that'll be what it is. So this is gonna let you read only from that text channel. If you want, for some reason, to read it from every single text channel, I'm not a big fan of that, but I mean, if you have like a one channel Discord and you don't really even care, and you don't want to be bothered to actually change the ID, go ahead and delete from line 19 and delete line 9. And then it'll read from every single channel and you'll be good to go. So basically, let me give you like the pipeline of how this works. This is the actual bot that takes in input from the Discord channel, and it'll go ahead and write it into guns, which will be read by like the actual kill file itself. Or sorry, not the kill file, the Gunswapper file. So that's how that works, essentially. The kill file, you'll notice, is used to actually kill the process that's happening in Gunswapper. Basically, how Gunswapper works is it allows like macros to go off at certain points. So the best way that I found to do it, or to like kill the file itself, is to just, you know, actually just type in end and you'll be good. Make sure it's capitalized like this or it's not going to work. There's also a pause function, but I wouldn't mess with that too much. You can pause it and it'll keep on adding things to the queue, but it's a little bit sketchy sometimes and runs into like out of bounds errors. So I mean, end is reliable. So I mean, other than that, I mean, you could always Alt F4 out of it and it'll be good to go. But yeah, that's basically how the bot works. It's pretty straightforward. It's a bit of a pain to set up, but after that, you should be good. So let's move on to the save file. So there should be a save file in bot. So you're gonna go ahead and basically just dump it in your saves. And if you don't know where that is, I'll show you really quick. So it'll be in Documents, My Games, Borderlands 2, Willow Game, Save Data, and then just dump it in here, and you should be good to go. So I'll meet you guys back in game, where we'll talk a little bit like just about the mod itself and things it does, things it doesn't do, things to watch out for, stuff like that. So see you guys in a second. Alright, so we're back in the game. So first thing you're going to want to do, alright, is you're going to want to go ahead and open your terminal and make sure that 2text is the last thing that you ran, okay? Like, even if it doesn't have anything in it, just make sure you run it, because basically, let me take you through the exact key inputs of how this thing works. So it goes tilde, up, enter, tilde, alright? So that's the first thing it runs, and then it goes items, and then it'll select your weapon, it'll swap this out, and then it'll swap down to your weapon, right? And then it swaps it out, and then it basically just escapes back to the game. So it does that all at really, really high speeds, which means a couple of things. First off, that you actually can, if you're fast enough, if you're a Korean StarCraft player and your APM is over 500, you actually can accidentally screw it up by clicking one of these things, and then it'll swap the weapon out into this slot, and then things get all screwed up. So that's why I was saying Cheat Engine is useful, because right now our backpack is overfilled, right? So if we actually do end up slotting something here, it becomes very difficult to actually get it back into our inventory unless we have an empty inventory slot. It actually is impossible. So if you have Cheat Engine, you can expand your backpack one slot and then slot it into there, and it just makes it a lot easier. So again, Cheat Engine, not required, but super useful if you accidentally screw something up. The next thing, all right, is that you need to realize that when you're in a car, if you're in a menu, basically try to be in menus as little as possible. But if you're jumping, if you're in a car or anything, the guns won't swap. So like the actual program will go off, but it doesn't actually know you're in a car. So it'll try to swap the weapon, and that means that, you know, whoever chose that weapon isn't going to get their weapon swapped while they're jumping. And I'd show it to you, but it's a little bit hard to recognize when the swap's going to happen, so I don't know if I can jump at that exact time. But just know, if you're jumping, if you're in a car, if you're in some sort of menu, cutscene, anything like that, weapons aren't going to swap. Also, on that note, while the program is running, you probably don't want to be tabbed out, because again, it's key macros, which means it's simulating keyboard input, which means that if you're tabbed into something else and the program goes off, then, well, it's gonna type something along the lines of, well, hold on. It'll end up looking something like this. It'll go like, tilde, I, enter a bunch of times, tilde, you know? So, yeah, just watch out for that. So let's run the program really quick to show you what the actual setup looks like here. So let's go ahead and control tilde, and then we'll cancel this. So you can actually cancel the bot by control C, which actually just cancels it all together. And I believe it still should be up on Discord because it takes a little while to go down. But you'll see your bot online or offline depending on if you're actually running it. So first off, you're gonna go node dot, and that'll actually turn the bot on. Now, okay, so my directory here is the exact location of the bot itself. So we go to desktop and then open bot. So this is actually the directory of the bot, right? So you see users Blacktavius desktop bot, and then node dot runs index. Okay, so if you're in the wrong directory, you're gonna get a node not found or index not found or something to that effect. So what you want to do is you want to copy this and you want to go CD, stands for change directory, and then basically just paste it, and that'll put you in the correct directory for wherever your bot's at. So that happened to me a couple times and I was like, wait, what? But yeah, that got figured out. So let's go node dot. All right, and then let's run the bot while we're not actually running the Gunswapper itself, to just show you like how the bot works. So if I were to go currently, like this is the passing off file that I talked about before. If I were to go like Ruby, right? So let's say file was saved, and you'll see in guns that it has swapped over to Ruby. So it won't actually do anything right now because the Gunswapper itself isn't running. The bot is, however. So it's running to the file. Everything's working. If you want to test just the bot itself, that's a good way to do it. All right, so now we're going to activate Gunswapper. You can do this by going ahead, swapping over to Gunswapper. I just like to compile it, see that it succeeded. And then what you want to do to run it is you want to go Alt-R, okay? So again, note that the kill file, it doesn't matter what it has in it initially because it'll erase it. But note that if you want to kill it, just type in end and it should be good. So let's actually take a look at what it looks like when it's running here. So I guess we're going to swap over to a Ruby. Let's run it. Swap over to this. And we should swap over to a Ruby pretty quick here. So again, if you're putting too many inputs in, like while it's actually happening, things could get a little bit screwed up. But usually it's pretty good about it. Like I've tried to make it so that it's as difficult to screw up as possible. Probably. Alright, there we go. So doing that should actually end the file. And when it's over, it's kind of nice because you'll see down here that there'll be some output. So you know that the file, or you know that like everything's over. So down here, you'll see Octavius added. Yeah, you'll just see like basically all the guns that were added to the queue, all of them being popped off the queue. So you know that the actual thing's over and that you're safe to click around. Again, I urge you that you probably shouldn't like click away from Borderlands while this is going, because anybody could request anything at any time and things get screwed up. So let's go over a little bit more advanced stuff, I guess. We're gonna go into how to like switch guns, because it should be noted that you have to use this actual file because this has all of the guns in order. So actually this is a really important part. You're gonna want to order everything by value. So you're gonna notice that as you descend down the list, things decrease by value. So that's how everything's ordered pretty much, and that's why you'll see like some things are just different levels than others. It's really apparent in the shields and stuff because shields tend to be similar prices to each other. So let's go ahead and get into how to like swap out different weapons. Like say you don't want the Bane in here. We'll go over how to swap out the Bane, how to swap out certain shields and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll see you guys back in Visual Studios in a second here. Alright, it should be noted that at this point you're pretty much done. You've done everything that you need to do to get the mod working like in its base form, the form that it's at. Now if you want to customize things, I'm going to teach you how to do that. Just know that you're basically done if you just want to run the file. So, okay. So what you want to do is you want to open guns list and sorted guns. So sorted guns is basically what you're going to see when you open Discord. So if I go ahead and open up Discord here in my Gunswapper instructions channel, I went ahead and I posted sorted guns so that people could actually see what guns there were. So this is just like a nice kind of nice to look at visual representation of everything they can choose. So here's what the actual just bare bones file looks like. So basically what happens is Gunswapper takes this, right? And it goes ahead and compares it to, well, this list. And whatever line it finds it on, it assumes that that's the spot it is in your inventory. So it's important not to, like, mess with the order of things here unless you're actually changing things. So say I wanted to add, I guess it's also important to note that it goes guns, shields, and then grenades. So say you wanted to get rid of something, right? You would delete it off of this. You would delete it off of sorted guns. But then at that point, okay, so let me go ahead and delete Lady Fist, right? So assuming that I go into the game and I drop the Lady Fist out of my inventory, it's no longer there. So what that would do is it would shorten this list. So if you wanted to get rid of the Lady Fist, right, you would have one less weapon. So what you would need to do is you would need to head over to Gunswapper and you would need to go to line... Alright, so the main lines you would be messing with are line 81, line 88, line 91, and line 98. So what you see here is basically telling like where the grenades stop, where the guns stop, and where the shields stop. So as you saw before, like there's this little space, and this is what I use to like designate, okay, so like this means we need to go to a gun slot. This means we need to go to a shield slot. This means we need to go to a grenade slot. So if you were to take something away, right, you would need to drop this down to 76. So basically all of these values go down 1. This would go to 76. This would go to 91. This would go to 91. So again, line 98, line 88, and line 81. So everything goes down by the same amount, essentially. And sorry, line 91 as well. And that's what's important to remember. So if you're adding things, obviously you would add things to this. If you're taking away, you take away. And that's simple enough. The other kind of warning I have is that you need to make sure that whatever you change here is spelled exactly the same as it's spelled here. So like, say, a good example here is like the sword explosion, how it has 3 exclamation points after that. If your sword explosion in sorted guns doesn't have the same thing and people try to write it, then it's not gonna match up and it'll never get chosen. So like I know that was like a problem that I had initially, is that I just spelled some things differently in each one, and that was kind of a problem. But yeah, that's how you switch weapons, and I believe that's about it in terms of changing things. Oh yeah, one more thing. Okay, so right now the base time for, we're gonna go ahead and look at line 52 here. The base time for gun swapping is 15 seconds, and that's based off of this, right? So obviously if you want it to be something like 30 seconds, right, you would end up switching this over to 200. If you wanted it to be 7.5 seconds, you would switch this to 50. It's basically the amount of time that it runs through this until it actually swaps a gun. So that's basically it. That's how to swap guns in a certain amount of time. That's how to change different weapons. Again, I just want to make this like entirely obvious. Do not click into other tabs while you're in this. Like you're gonna mess some stuff up. And again, just like each time that you want to run it, just compile it, make sure it still works, and you should be good. Also be careful of running multiple instances of it, because I mean things can get screwed up really quick when you're running multiple instances and it's trying to run multiple macros at the same time. Other than that though, it should work fine. A good old reset every once in a while of the computer will fix that. Also closing Visual Studios will just get rid of the program itself. A good way to test if it's actually like working as intended, like if things are happening weird in your menus, go ahead and just open up Notepad and then run it. And if you get like the correct, if you get like say tilde I, a bunch of enters, I, and a tilde, like it's running one instance of it and you'll be good. But if you run it and there are like 5 I's and 5 tilde, like you might want to close it, open it back up, rerun it, and give it another go. And if it's still happening, just, I mean, restart your computer. Again, like it's kind of a janky mod, but it works well for its purpose. So yeah, I believe that's about it. That's all the warnings I'm gonna give you. If I'm thinking of anything else, I'll probably end up putting it in the comments. But yeah, Thanks for watching. Good luck with the mod. Hope you don't screw up your computer, and have a great day. Peace.